In an era where disc golf beginner sets are becoming less and less common, Seeker Disc Golf comes out with their own disc golf set that challenges that trend. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick and I'm here to review the Seeker Disc Golf set. So as I've highlighted in previous videos, there are various pockets to this. It's quite useful in carrying a number of things, including, like a wallet, set of keys, smartphone, and other items, maybe a lip balm, hand lotion, etc. In here, in addition to the discs, this can fit 6 discs total, but it comes included with 4 discs, but you can add more, mix and match, and use it pretty much however you see fit. So first and foremost, I'm going to use this mini here, and I'm going to set it in front, and I'm going to throw from behind it. And now I'm going to throw these 4 discs so you can see how each of them fly in hyzer, neutral or straight / flat release, or anhyzer release. There's more to disc golf than drives and long distance upshots. 2 of these discs, in my opinion, are really good for approaches, and I'm going to demonstrate that. I'm approximately 100 feet away from the basket, and I'm going to demonstrate first with backhand and then with sidearm or forehand, and I'm going to also continue the pattern of going hyzer, flat, and anhyzer releases. All right, now for the harder part, sidearm. Last but not least, the real test of a putter, putting. So there you have it. I've given this product a really thorough review over the last month. I haven't just opened these up, thrown them a few times, and called it a day. There are a lot of things I like about this set. I'm going to just go over some of them, some of those things here. So the plastic here is very grippy. It's decently rigid. All the discs are pretty rigid, and I believe these are a good quality plastic that will beat in well over time. That's very important for people that like to buy additional copies of the same mold and wear them out over time so they have different levels of stability. One thing I want to talk about here, this putter, it is beadless. It has specifications very similar to an Innova AVR, Discraft Luna, or Discmania P2. It is a straight flyer, and it is perfectly stable as a putter. It's very comfortable in the hand, and I think a beginner should be able to use it as a putting putter and a throwing putter with no problem. In fact, I'm very happy with this. I think it's the star of the set. Not to be outdone though, the Chevalier Midrange is a very, very good, I think it's an approach disc as much of a mid-range. It's a small diameter disc. And I would say it's slightly understable if you throw it, long distances like you would a mid-range driver. It reminds me a little bit of the Discraft Soul, if you're familiar with that one. As an approach disc, it's slightly overstable. It's more stable than the putter, for example, when thrown like 100, 150 feet. And I think it's better to use if you want to get a little more distance with a putter. For example, if you throw this 200 feet, you might be able to throw this 220 feet. And that's essentially what I've been able to duplicate pretty consistently out in a field as well as on a course. I think this also has a decent fade towards the end of the flight, though it's not very strong. I wouldn't say this dumps when it fades towards the end. This fairway driver here, the Monarch, it is significantly understable, particularly because it's lighter weight than these other discs, which are all about 175 grams. This is closer to 157 grams, and I think this makes a great beginner fairway driver. And while I personally found it to be a very flippy disc due to its light weight, or not very flippy, somewhat flippy, it did not, like when I threw it hard, it didn't become a roller, for example. So I wouldn't say this is necessarily a roller disc, though it could be used as one. I think new players, brand new to disc golf, should hold off throwing this until they can throw this mid-range 200 feet, or maybe that putter 175, 180 feet. That said, as those of you know that watch my channel, I'm not a proficient sidearm thrower. I tend to throw about 200 220 feet. I've been able to get about 240 feet with this with my forehand throws. And to me, that's very impressive. And to date, this is the longest throwing disc I've been able to throw with my sidearm. I've not been able to throw farther than that, you know, as essentially a novice to recreational level disc golfer. Last but not least, this distance driver here is significantly beefy for someone at my skill level or my ability to throw a disc. It's very stable, and it actually reminds me in terms of its dimensions and feel as like an Innova Wraith, with a 2.1 centimeter rim. Personally, I think this is too stable for use in a starter set, but I think its inclusion here is good because it can be used as a training tool for players who are starting to throw fairway drivers well and they want to disc up. This comes with the set, and I think even if you're decent at throwing a fairway driver, this has usefulness. This is a utility disc that can be used to curve around certain corners and skip on the ground to gain extra distance in some directions. As you know, the longer the rim that a driver has, that a disc has, the longer it'll skip typically. So let's talk about this hip bag. As anyone that knows me can attest, I love this bag a lot. Some people call it a fanny pack, but I don't think that makes it sound like it's disc golf related. In other words, this is not held, you know, on your belly. It's on one of your hips, on your side hip, typically where your off arm is at. And I think that's why it should be called a hip bag. Very useful. As I mentioned, you can put up to 6 discs in it. And there's 2 different major pockets. You could be 4 discs here, 2 discs here, and then you have, you know, other stuff that you can put in here. And it's very light. It's about as heavy as any one of these discs, about 180 grams, which is not heavy at all. And I honestly barely notice it when it's on my waist. Once you get it fastened and tight and all good to go, it's basically not an issue, you know, wearing it throughout the day. And as you notice, I used it. I played an entire disc golf round with it on my side, as well as the first half of the throwing in this video. So I really like this. I could also see it strapped to a disc golf cart as a putter pocket, you know, for those, you know, who don't have a putter pocket. Very useful. The advantage to using this hip bag is that it's great for use in putting competitions, which I've done several times so far since I've received this, or small disc rounds where, you know, bringing only, you know, 4, 5, or 6 discs. Say you want to play a quick 9-hole after work. You know, you can put some stuff in these pockets here, like a small water bottle, and you can wear jeans and a jacket and have everything with you. So love that thing to death, and I think that in and of itself is worth buying as a separate buy, even if you don't buy the entire disc golf starter set. In fact, the company does offer this as a standalone item, and I think it's very worth the very little money spent for it. And I also think this is my last point with regard to this hip bag. I think there's a market for a putter pack version of this, where this hip bag comes with 4 putters exactly like this, you know, the same color, the same stamp, same weight. Put them in here, and you can just go to any putting competition with these. Just mill about, chill the whole time, you know, pull out the putters when you need to throw, and you're good to go. So I just wanted to mention that there, Seeker Discs, if you're listening, please consider that. I think that's another option, because I think this is a fantastic putter. I think this is a great throwing putter, and I think this is probably the best training tool a brand new disc golfer could use to learn how to throw, you know, backhand, sidearm, etc., etc. With that said, I hope that you liked the video. I put a lot of time into this review, a lot that you don't see behind the scenes, and I really enjoyed testing this product, and this is going into my rotation as far as practice putters. Absolutely love it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, as I do have more disc golf reviews, more comparisons, and challenges on the way. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.